ready? Oud Wood, part of the legendary, and I mean emphasizing legendary, initial 12 launch of the private blend line for the House of Tom Ford, including fragrances such as Tobacco Vanille, Tuscan Leather, Amber Absolute, Noir de Noir, Neroli Portofino, Japon Noir, among others. Some of my favorites from the House of Tom Ford, by the way. It's part of that legendary class. Great class of releases. I don't think I've ever seen a initial launch like that with so many fragrances and so many great ones. Now, Oud Wood on its own as a standalone fragrance has an equally legendary reputation in our YouTube fragrance community. I have the original release here with the gold sticker. If you believe that my bottle isn't the same as it is in stores, you'd be right. This is from the original launch. They changed it. However, is this release that good? Find out next. Tom Ford, you're up to bat. YouTube fragrance family, welcome to another Oud Wood fragrance review. Today I'm putting my nose on the House of Tom Ford, one of my favorite houses in the fragrance game. And this is one of their early releases in that famous initial 12 launch for the House of Tom Ford. This one actually has a cult following, just like many of them have. You know, Tuscan Leather, Tobacco Vanille, Amber Absolute, among others, have a cult following. This one called Oud Wood. I haven't reviewed it yet. I should probably get on that. Well, I'm on it today. Now, I have reviewed a few Tom Fords on my channel. I own quite a bit of them, but you're going to see the list right here. I still got lots to go. Next in line in my fragrance reviewing channel is I'm testing out right now London. So it's going to be a private blend fragrance review after Oud Wood. So London is getting close to being reviewed on my channel. So anybody that's really interested in that fragrance, she's coming soon. But let me know in the comments below, and I'm going to show you a pan of the Tom Fords I haven't touched yet on my channel. And comment below and let me know which one you'd like to see reviewed after London. We'll see what I can do. Now, if you're new here, thanks for watching. Subscribe to support the channel. Hit that bell. Now, I'm also all over social media under my YouTube handle, Robes08. You can keep tabs on me on behind the scenes stuff, including Center of the Day, Center of the Night post on Instagram. I always post pictures of what I just purchased, which is going to come onto the YouTube channel and get unboxed. And what I'm working on the channel, upcoming reviews, Pop the Cherries, samples that I got in the mail, things like that. So definitely check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, talking about Facebook, I have my own page, yes, just for me, little old me, but also have a Facebook group called Fragrance Guru Nation, where myself and 18,000 other members, we discuss fragrances on new releases. Some people buy, sell, swap, split releases. You discover new YouTubers, new and old, post their videos, their new videos on FGN. A great source of information if you're in this hobby like I am. So now on to Oud Wood, and let's start with scent, my first chapter of this review. We got a lot of chapters to hit up, so let's start it off with Under the Hood with scent. So release date was back in 2007 in that beautiful initial launch. Concentrations Eau de Parfum. The nose behind Oud Wood. When I saw the nose, I was like, oh, Richard Herpin. Resume, Usher's He, Coney Island from Bomb Number 9. Those are the two releases that I own in my personal collection. Not the most stellar resume, to be quite honest. So it's very surprising to see from this nose this kind of scent. And I'm going to get into that, what kind of scent we got here. So olfactory group for Oud Wood. It is an oriental release. Now let's take a look at the notes in this bad boy. Up top we have cardamom, Sichuan pepper, and rosewood. In the mid heart, we have sandalwood, oud, and vetiver. And at the base, we have tonka bean, vanilla, and amber. So the keynotes to my nose in Oud Wood have to be cardamom, sandalwood, and vanilla. You see, I kind of missed oud. Interesting. So, we all know that Tom Ford was the creative director at Yves Saint Laurent when beautiful M7 was launched. A thing of legends. People absolutely love this stuff. These are comparables, by the way. And he is familiar with introducing agar wood as a note. And we're going to talk a little bit about the agar wood in this particular release and M7. I would say, not the best representation of the fragrance of oud. Again, oud has not just one particular scent. You can't just say, oh, a fragrance has oud in it and it smells like this. No, very complex note. Depending on the region, oud can smell different things. So you got to keep that in mind. In Oud Wood, we're going to talk about that in more detail, but this is his second try at oud. And one thing for sure, this does remind me slightly of his baby here, M7. So let's get to delving. Oud Wood is my scent of the day today, and what a scent. I had to dress up for this one, by the way, a little bit. It's been a while since I've dressed up, but I got the dry down here, but I want to remind myself of that introduction of Oud Wood. And let's spray the back of my hand here, and one for the community, of course. And Oud Wood immediately hits me. It's a very rich, deep, and woody scent. A beautiful opening to a scent, and that's why it's part of the legendary initial 12 launch, and it is in talks of one of the best out of the 12, and rightfully so. This opening, let me paint you a picture. Oud Wood brings you to a classy place. If you're a man, you're wearing just a straight up black suit, white shirt, black tie, straight up class, nothing too fancy. Woman, if you're wearing this, a beautiful black dress. Simple, classy. That's where you are. You're at a classy club. Smells mostly of the woods at the club. So the bar itself, stools, tables, things like that. They aged a bit than the actual drinks that are being poured around you. So just picture that mentality, very dark, a club, but a classy one. This is where Oud Wood comes into play. It's a very classy scent. One thing for sure, I'm just starting this review, but I know this is going to be a long review. When I discussed and when I reviewed Tuscan Leather, Amber Absolute, Tobacco Vanille, the same theme came into play, and that's why they were longer reviews, is because they are all simplistic scents as an idea. However, once you start pulling layers and you start dissecting these Tom Ford private blends, especially the ones that are the more popular ones, they do have a lot of layers, but they just portray one simple idea. And Oud Wood does that. It has so many layers to the fragrance, yet it's very simplistic. And I really enjoy that with the private blend line. And a lot of them do that. Tuscan Leather, Tobacco Vanille, Amber Absolute. When you're talking about Amber Absolute, straight up, ambery touch, Tuscan Leather, Tobacco Vanille, Tobacco Vanilla, but there's more to them than just that. But if you describe them as that, you're right. Now, upon first sniff, you need to appreciate that Oud Wood is well blended, especially looking at the nose's resume. I was a little surprised. I was like, whoa, the quality of Oud Wood. And this is a shot to the nose, and I apologize. I do that sometimes in my reviews. But your resume, from what I've smelt, this is your star. It's deep, it's rich, but it doesn't have the power, which I come to appreciate with this scent. Now, when I first got it, I was like, oh, it doesn't have the power of a Tuscan Leather, Tobacco Vanille, Amber Absolute. Those things, they blast. They're good and they blast. This one, the blast, she ain't there, but I appreciated that. I was like, an oud-based scent from Tom Ford Private Blend. I am thinking in my mind, I'm like, this is going to be, nuclear. It wasn't. And I appreciate that from this release. Now you can find, and that's why this review is important to talk about, is that you can find There are a dime a dozen oud-based scents that really show the oud, and they blast it. When it's there, oh, she's there. You can't miss it. This one refines it a little bit. So Oud Wood gives you woods right away. That's the first thing that comes to mind to me. Not oud, woods. And I just want to say, oud is a wood, yes. But it's woods. This is paired with a heavy cardamom as your primary. There's a mild herbal peppery kick from the Sichuan pepper. And the rosewood throws off its sweet, fruity aroma with a mild teak wood tinge. The rosewood and the sandalwood are your primary woods in Oud Wood. Both very smooth, creamy woods, actually, both of them. They do their thing, and they give Oud Wood that certain class to the fragrance. The rosewood also gives its floral quality here, which is very subtle. So some people will smell a little bit of a floral quality in Oud Wood. It's your rosewood. At times, kind of making me think that it has a little bit of a clean floral tinge to all this darkness in Oud Wood. It's woody as you'd come to expect from a scent like this. The woods feel primary, 100%, but at the same time, they don't when you peel the layers. As far as the oud itself, it's a clean oud. It's a westernized oud. It's not strong nor mysterious, not really that medicinal. All it does, to be quite honest, is give the scent a woody backdrop. It gives also some dustiness to the scent. That's about it from the oud. Now, to be honest here, the oud note here is so faint that it's not a primary note, as the sticker would say. No, it's not. I'm actually hard-pressed to say that it's actually a strong secondary note, as far as woods goes, or things that are close to a woody take in Oud Wood. I would have to say the sandalwood, the rosewood, and even the vetiver give more to this scent than actual oud. The cardamom is mostly the star of the show in this opening. It gives its sweet, nutty aspect to the scent. The vanilla from the tonka and or the amber also gives sweetness to the scent here, which gives it just another layer. Not overly sweet either. The amber truly gives Oud Wood a resinous quality, which I absolutely love with the woods. Pairs so well with an old musky woody scent. It really does well, and it gives such a great backbone to Oud Wood. Now, as an opening, it's entertaining. It truly prepares you for what you're going to get in this scent. It truly smells like a luxury item to me. Blend on point. Very solid opening that will introduce you to just as good of a dry down. The development on this scent and blend, simply outstanding. It does open light, much lighter than I actually expected from a Tom Ford Private Blend. Like my notes have been from ever since I purchased this right to now. I've got a lot of notes on this, and this is how I just condense it in this small review. And I'm saying small because I could talk an hour out of Oud Wood, out of all my notes. I had to condense it a little bit, but it does open much lighter than what I expected when I first purchased this release. And that is actually kind of part of the appeal. I tend to reach for this one when I want a Tom Ford Private Blend. And Tobacco Vanille, it's not going to cut it. Tuscan Leather, Amber Absolute, too beastly. Oud Wood kind of gives me that kick. And it does it well. Now let's move on to the heart and the base of this particular release. And onto the heart, the woods continue to push with the cardamom as the primary 1-2 punch. So you got woods and cardamom. I felt it was getting woodier at times as the scent goes on, but the ambered vanilla punch up a notch. As does the pepper, it kind of takes a step back. So pepper takes a step back. Some of the spices in here take a step back, and the ambered vanilla punch up a little bit, giving it that sweetness, giving it some of that resinous feel to the release. In this dry down, there's a spicy dustiness here in the heart, and at times it felt like Oud Wood was giving me the imagery of old bar stools, like I said earlier, old wooden tables. It feels like they aged, but you still smell the wood, and it almost has like a, kind of like a patina on top of it. Kind of feels like it had some age to it. There's many woody aspects in here, and I think that's why it's called Oud Wood, because the wood itself is the intriguing part of the scent. The other moving parts, and they're fairly primary and secondary notes, they never feel Very interesting. The woody notes feel very interesting. They're never too bulky. It's never too woody. It's not going to smell like Home Depot, by the way. It's very dry as a scent, and at times kind of playing tricks on me, thinking kind of like a dry hay, old bar stool type of scent. Amber, vanilla, as mentioned, come up much more here in the heavy dry down, but more the ambery resinous quality here than the vanillic tones. Never too sweet, but gives Oud Wood another facet. So again, not too resinous either. I don't want to start saying that this is an Amber Absolute Part 2. No. But it does give it more of a resinous quality than more of the vanillic sweet play on. Now, vetiver also plays its role here too, adding to the woody tones and giving the scent a mildly earthy, rooty quality. Overall, Oud Wood, a quality scent, which fails to show a true oud, given, but at the same time, I ain't mad. I ain't mad, Tom. You did good. This is a good one. So ratings, let's rate Oud Wood as far as scent-wise, uniqueness. We're going to hit that up, and of course the scent itself. Uniqueness, I'm going to give it 7 bottles out of 10. Not the most unique oud base scent, especially when it piggybacks a lot on his previous facet here, M7. It is also compared to Versace Oud Noir, another designer release. Basically a wearable oud. Icon Absolute from Dunhill also touches upon this. All fairly weak sets, to be quite honest, as far as performance goes, except for M7. This thing does push quite a bit. But we're going to hit performance on Oud Wood too, by the way. But uniqueness, I'll give it 7. You know, as far as a oud scent, it fails, but as a scent itself, it does well. And that goes to scent. Overall, as a scent, just like Tuscan Leather, Amber Absolute, Tobacco Vanille, it's hitting it. 10 bottles out of 10. I really think, you know, from first sniff to the end, yeah, this fragrance just hits all points. I gotta give it to the nose behind this. This is a great representation, a great scent. Forget oud, but a really great build. Now let's move on to the next chapter, which is performance and feedback, where I'm going to talk about longevity, projection, complement factor, which chapter 2 is important to a lot of you out there. So let's take a look at those. First, let's hit up my spray routine. 1 on the chest, as I usually do. I always like to clear the stem. And then 2 on the neck, 1 on each side here. And then 2 on the arms. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I'm going to do inner elbows because the long sleeve shirt is obviously rolled up. And remind me of that introduction. Beautiful, beautiful introduction. So longevity on this one. Now this is where this thing gets panned in the YouTube world. People say it don't last. It doesn't throw off. It's not a Tobacco Vanille. It is not a Tuscan Leather. It's not a beast like Amber Absolute. Given. However, longevity, I'm going to give it 8 bottles out of 10. I've never had any issues with Oud Wood. Again, I have, they say, so-called vintage. I bought this fairly close to launch. So I get 7 to 9 hours steadily with Oud Wood. Excellent longevity. Projection, it goes down. 6 bottles out of 10. This is going to be, it's a fragrance that's a little more subtle, obviously, from other private blends. Doesn't jump much off the skin. Doesn't mean you're not going to get noticed, because this fragrance does get noticed quite a bit, depending on setting, depending on how many people, what you're going to do while wearing this. How many sprays? Is it going to be warm? Is it going to be climate controlled? Are you going to be outside? Things like that. This is one of those fragrances, if you wear it outside, hardly anybody's going to smell you unless they're hugging you. So I'm going to give it 6 bottles out of 10. I feel like it does have that, you know, it's going to get compliments, and that's where I'm going to go to compliment factor. This gets 9 bottles out of 10 for me. Actually very good. To note, many people do say this doesn't last. It doesn't get you noticed. I feel like I'm being fair with Oud Wood, especially with the performance of mine. Again, they're saying it's vintage, so it might be better. But I feel like compliment factor, it's one of the higher as far as private blends go. It's up there. People really love this scent on me. Now, the next chapter is versatility. We're going to talk about age range, seasons, night or day, occasions, versatility, things like that, of course. Now, let's start it off with age range. Oud Wood. 20 and up. I kind of want to take the teens out of the equation here. Not that it's an overly mature scent. I feel like a real oud based scent, I would probably bring that up to 25 and up. But this one is not that. It feels very easy to wear actually. And I might get shot for this, but I think it's highly unisex. A very strong woman, and I mean like somebody that has, you know, they own their own business, a business-minded woman, a strong woman. I know a few women that actually wear this, so a very good, I feel, unisex-based scent. Seasons. When would I wear Oud Wood? Winter, fall, it's obviously something more for the cooler seasons. Spring nights, even summer nights, depending on how cool the night is, you can wear it. Night or day, this is one of those things that Oud Wood is very good for either or. I could see somebody wearing a business suit in a cooler climate, wearing this as his signature, going to work. It's perfectly fine for that. It's not too playful. It kind of smells like the boss is in the building. That's what this smells like. But also it can be somebody's just like something that they spent a lot of money on and they're just going to wear it for special occasions, nighttime. I could see that too. So day or night, doesn't matter. Oud Wood. Occasions, dress it up, dress it down. Just like I said, signature scent worthy. Yes. Refined, sophisticated, formal occasions, black tie event, date, all of the above. It's very versatile, actually. And that goes to versatility as a score, 9 bottles out of 10. For an oud, saying that lightly, it's highly wearable as a scent. And that's the thing that I really, really appreciate from Oud Wood is that, yeah, you know, it's not beastly like the others. But again, I'm appreciating what it does give me. It actually makes it a little more wearable. Now let's get into value, where we're going to talk about bottle size, availability, presentation, pricing, quality, all that good stuff. Let's get into the next chapter. Bottle sizes available. As many private blend releases, they got several bottle sizes: 1 ounce, 1.7, which is the one I have right here, 3.4 ounce, and the flacon 8.4 ounce. Pricing, pricey, obviously. Private blends, $185 to $605 USD retail. So shop around, see if you can find it. Discounters has Oud Wood, so definitely take a look at it. Availability, it's available, not discontinued. Presentation, obviously different than mine. I already said that I have the original vintage version. So I'll put in a picture of the current Oud Wood. And at just a side note, there is a intense version that was released. As of the day of this shoot, I have not smelled the Oud Wood Intense, but very much interested, especially on the strength of this fragrance review and how long I've had this fragrance and how much I actually like it. So pricing versus quality. As far as that goes, private blends, pick your poison. Some feel like Tobacco Vanille is a no-brainer. Just buy that and you're good. Everybody has their own poison in the private blend line. For me, I got at least a dozen poisons that I want to pick. Don't make me choose. This is one of those that's high up there. You know, if I had to trim down my Tom Ford line, this would probably be one of the last 10, I'd say. The last 10, this would be in the talks. And I would have to say 8 bottles out of 10 as perceived value out of this release. So now let's end this thing. Let's talk about my final thoughts, the positives, the negatives that I feel about Oud Wood. Let's get into it. Let's start positives. Let's take a look at those. Some positives. The blend, outstanding in Oud Wood. The classy aspect of the scent, I absolutely love. The versatility of a oud scent. Compliment factor was intriguing to me. It actually does well on my skin. Almost surprisingly that it did well on my skin. I feel like if you're like me and you appreciate the simplicity of Tuscan leather, Tobacco Vanille, and Amber Absolute as a whole picture, but truly see the different layers in all those scents, you're going to appreciate what Oud Wood brings to the table. Now let's get into the negatives of Oud Wood. There's a few things that are out there floating in the internet world, and one of the things is performance. It's not what you are accustomed to the more heavy, dense Tom Fords. You're paying the big bucks for things that will blow down the door when you walk into a room. This is not one of those, and some may feel, Nope, not worth the price tag because the performance is not there. The other thing is this is not an oud. This is not a true representation of the note. So that is one thing that maybe some people want to pay the premium price to get. You know, it was a few years back, everybody was sticking oud to their fragrance as a name. Say that there's oud in the fragrance and price jump it. And that's what a lot of brands did. With Tom Ford, this was released with the initial 12. It didn't have a markup of some sort just because it had oud in the name. So that's one thing I did appreciate. But pricing versus what you get, as you can see, some of the comparables are designer releases, namely Versace Oud Wood. Those are good designer releases though. I don't think they are on par, but they are comparables to Oud Wood. So now on to my final thoughts on this release, and it's always bittersweet for me that a fragrance like this that's been in my stable and my rotation. It's just that every time I did my review on Tobacco Vanille years ago, Tuscan Leather, Amber Absolute just recently. These Tom Fords I've had for several plus years, and brings a little tear to my eye to finally put the nail into the coffin as regard as the fragrance review. So my final thoughts on Oud Wood is that it gets the job done as a woody scent. It's reliable, easy to wear. It is also reserved. If you're looking for a true blue oud, you're not going to find it in this bottle. You're not. It's safe, it's reserved, it's inoffensive, it's wearable, and it's an approachable scent. It's missing a little oomph. Yeah. A little bland for the oud lovers out there. I can see it. Oud Wood at times doesn't excite me, but at the same time I respect it for what it is. This is for the person that demands a good blend, but doesn't want all the attention. You know, I don't want to be the clown. I just want to smell good, but I like nice things. Oud Wood is for that person. Oud Wood, on one hand, is hard to get extremely excited about in the Tom Ford Private Blend line. It's not the sexiest release of the line. However, on the other side of the coin, it's just so solid in every single facet. It's not a bad scent. I can't say that. And it's not the best from the house of Tom Ford. Definitely ain't the worst. Just a solid release from the line. So my overall score, Tom Ford Private Blend line has received a lot of 10s in my days on my channel. And I'm not scared to give out 10s to solid releases. The House of Tom Ford has been very reliable, very much just steadily releasing excellent scents. And it started back in 2007 when you released 12 releases all at the same time. Usually they're all losers. You may find one or two good ones. They've stood the test of time. You cannot poo-poo Tom Ford. That was an amazing initial launch, including this. I'm giving Oud Wood 9 bottles out of 10. Great release from the brand. So what would I recommend? Buy, try, or pass? It's a definite try. I can't say this is one of those that you have to go out and purchase from the house of Tom Ford, but if you have the chance to check out the whole line, this has to be one that you have to sniff out and just see if it's up your alley. So now that I'm done with Oud Wood, see you later, buddy. It won't be too long that I'll be wearing you as one of my scent of the day or scent of the nights. You'll see that on Instagram. But have you smelt Oud Wood? Let us know in the comments below. I'm very interested in seeing what you guys are going to think about this release. Very polarizing release. Some hate it, some love it. So I can't wait to see those comments. Share with the community. I'd love to see my comment section just getting peppered with good and bad thoughts on Oud Wood. Now, talking about other thoughts than my own on this particular release, I'm going to leave you with a few takes from people that do follow me on all social media. I did ask everyone on their thoughts on this one, and I wanted to see the good, bad, and the ugly. I'm going to throw those at the back end of the video, as I always do on my fragrance reviews. I do want to take the time to thank all those people that took the time out of their day to comment on those posts. I really appreciate it, and it's a big part of my fragrance reviews. I love digging through them and trying to pick a few that I could put on my review. So thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. And as always, a greater pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your Tom Ford Private Blend wisely. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.